Our final guest this evening is an essayist, public speaking coach, and director of the Chicago Writers Conference. She reads her essays and tells stories at events like Is This a Thing?, Story Lab, This Much Is True, Story Club, and Tuesday Funk. She enjoys high-quality gin and loves living in Chicago. Give a big hand for Mare Swallow.
Shorten that down a bit. There you go, Marty. Set my accoutrement here. Can I lower this a bit? Can I lower this a bit?
Yeah. Do whatever you gotta.
Awesome. So I felt really guilty the other day when my husband caught me watching The Two Faces of January. And it's because our exchange went like this. He walked in and went, "What are you watching?" And I went, "Shh." Because at that very second, Oscar Isaac walked on screen. And my husband goes, "What? Are you in love with Oscar Isaac now?" And I go, yes, I am. I have never been one to hide my celebrity crushes, and frankly, I don't see the point. I mean, if your partner is going to develop superficial feelings for someone, what would you rather hear? "Honey, I have a crush on a celebrity, someone who she'll probably never meet," or, "Honey, I have a crush on Al in accounting." Now, there are idiots out there like Dr. Phil who will tell you that if you're married and if you even think of someone else, you're cheating. And I say bullshit. I get celebrity crushes pretty regularly, and they make for some pretty good joking between me and my husband. A couple months ago, the power went out at his office and he had to leave early, so he texted me to let me know that he was on his way and he was coming home early. I texted back, "Thanks for the heads up. I'll tell Chris Hardwick to leave." This was met with a very flat, "Oh ha." And although my husband isn't nearly as vocal about his celebrity crushes as I am, I can tell you, the night we saw American Hustle, you know, the movie that had Jennifer Lawrence, Amy Adams, and their tits, it was a really short trip from the movie theater to the bedroom that night. Crushes are a good thing. Crushes serve to remind us that we're alive, we're still human, and we get horny. A crush is the first sign after you've been dumped that you are going to fall in love again, and that you're probably going to get laid again. And I'm going to take this a step further and say that fantasizing about the person you have a crush on is a good thing, and that's also healthy. Fantasies show us that we still have and still use our imaginations, even if it's just to imagine that you're in a movie with Oscar Isaac and you have to make out with him. Or, you know, the classic, maybe you go home with Oscar Isaac and you wake up the next day and you're wearing his pajama top and he's wearing the pajama bottoms. Probably not going to happen, but it's fun to think about and is absolutely not realistic, which is why it's called fantasy. Can you imagine that if fantasies reflected what was really going on in real life, how boring that would be? And imagine what that would look like in the outer world. You tell your girlfriends things like, "I had this dream last night where Oscar Isaac and I were paying the bills and balancing the checkbook." And then I asked him, "Why'd you forget to pay the credit card bill?" And he said, "I forgot." And I said, "You always forget." And we just had this horrible argument. This is no fun. The easier and arguably more enjoyable thing is to imagine all sorts of dirty deeds and hot sex taking place in your mind, even though you know absolutely nothing about Oscar Isaac. Speaking of, I pretty much had no idea who Oscar Isaac was a few years ago, kind of like most of us. And the movie Inside Llewyn Davis was about to come out, and NPR was giving the Coen brothers the usual rim job they give them whenever they crap out a movie. You know, so all the celebrities were being interviewed and everything, and I had tickets to a taping of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. And Oscar Isaac was the celebrity call-in guest, and he told the audience how he prepared for the role of Llewyn Davis.
Before I started shooting, I would go to parties and try to interact the way Llewyn does.
Yeah.
And one of two things would happen. Either they would think you were a jerk and just walk the other way, or it would get really intimate really quick.
And at what point do you reveal to them that you're doing, like, you know, did you end up sleeping with somebody and then the next day saying, "Oh, it's just an act. I'm doing research. I'm really not into you."
That is almost exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I was laughing my ass off. And guys who can make me laugh get me every time. It's the reason why I've had a crush on Jon Stewart since 1993. Now, with Oscar Isaac, it definitely was not crush at first sight. So, to explain to you the progression of my superficial feelings on this very attractive actor, I've made a chart for you. Let's turn it this way so the people on the back can see it, and then we'll go this way. Okay, so it starts over here, inside Llewyn Davis. So this guy's really attractive, but he's kind of a dick, and he's got a full beard. I hate facial hair, level 5. Then a few months after that, I go to see A Most Violent Year, and wow, this guy is really a dick. He doesn't have any facial hair, but he wears a lot of turtlenecks, and I hate turtlenecks, too. Then, after that, Ex Machina. This is the movie that my husband calls the one with the hot robot. This guy is an internet billionaire, but he's such a dick. But he's really hot when he's boxing outside his compound, and he can disco dance. But he has a full beard, level 5. Then, this past summer, Show Me a Hero. This is where it happens. He's cute, he's sweet, he's funny, he's vulnerable. He's the mayor of Yonkers. Now, he has a mustache, but the girl he falls in love with has brown hair and brown eyes. 10. And then, finally, The Two Faces of January, where Oscar Isaac plays a con man who takes advantage of tourists in Greece. Baby, you can take advantage of me anytime. Bonus points, no facial hair, 12. Thanks, Mike. So, with my crush on Oscar growing, I wanted to know more about him, as you do with your crushes. Like, does he like to go to dinner? Does he like to read David Foster Wallace? Does he like literary white chicks with brown hair and funky glasses? So, like any good stalker, I went to the internet, and I found quite a bit. First, there was the interview where he was in the New York Times talking about his character in A Most Violent Year. And he described his character as being someone who was goal-orientated. Right. Now, I looked this up. It is technically not incorrect, but the former editor and journalist in me cringed. It's goal-oriented. But Oscar Isaac said goal-orientated 3 times. So then, I found him on the Nerdist podcast. Awesome, the most hot comedian talking with the hottest actor. And they talked for an hour about Star Wars. To give you some context, to show how little I care about Star Wars, I hate sports. Right, Kevin?
That is right.
I hate sports. I hate sports, but I go to a ball game once a year. I have never seen anything Star Wars, and I have no desire to.
Boo.
So I figured there's got to be some other interviews out there somewhere. So I went on YouTube, and there he was talking with Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, and live on Kelly and Michael. And on each show, he talked about Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. And on each show, he told the same story, how his Uncle Guillermo is a huge Star Wars fan, so he brought him to set. And Uncle Guillermo liked Star Wars so much that J.J. Abrams gave him a job as a stormtrooper. Yes, we've heard your fucking Uncle Guillermo stormtrooper story 5 times. So I thought I'd do some reading. And I looked up some headlines from this year, and they all said, Oscar Isaac cast in next 3 Star Wars movies. Oscar Isaac on the Star Wars trailer leak. Oscar Isaac on his character in Star Wars. Maybe we wouldn't be such a hot couple. But grammatical errors and Star Wars fandom aside, I still had all sorts of dirty thoughts about Oscar Isaac in my mind whenever I needed a distraction. But here's the thing. Crushes and fantasies are good, but they are also neat, tidy, and fake. Real life is messy. Now, when I think about Oscar Isaac, it's all hot sex and wonderful makeout sessions in my mind. But there's never any of the mood killers, like arguing about who forgot to pay the credit card bill or why he got me cherry cough syrup when he knows I hate cherry cough syrup.
True story.
In a fantasy, there are none of the complexities of everyday life. In a fantasy, you don't have to deal with the other person's flatulence irritable bowel syndrome, or cancer. In a fantasy, you've got your fantasy fuck, and your fantasy fuck will never go to visit your family, and you will never go to visit his. Your fantasy fuck will never rush to the emergency room because you just fell down a flight of stairs and might be paralyzed. And you will never spend 2 days in the hospital with him because he has a pulmonary embolism that just might kill him. Now, Oscar Isaac is undeniably sexy, but I don't have to live with him. But what if I did? I thought about that, and I took the liberty of putting it into a script that I would like to share with you tonight. Andrew Huff is going to lead us into the scene, and joining me in the role of Oscar Isaac is Mike Fergassi.
Life with Oscar. A fan, non-fantasy, but imagined non-fiction. Scene. Mare paces around her apartment, angry, looking at her watch. Her live-in boyfriend, Oscar Isaac, enters, looking tired.
Hey, baby. Sorry I'm late. The shoot ran long.
Of course it did. Hurry up and eat the dinner I made. We have to get to Tuesday Funk by 7.
Another storytelling thing? Baby, I'm exhausted, and I don't really enjoy listening to other people's stories.
Are you kidding me? All you do is act out other people's stories.
Which is why I need a break. Jeez, it's exhausting pretending to be someone else all day.
Oh, poor baby. You think 6 months ago I enjoyed watching Star Wars chapters 1 through 3?
It's episodes, not chapters. And you said you like Star Wars.
I was trying to get you to sleep with me.
You mean I fell in love with a lie?
Oh, like you never lied to get a girl in bed. I heard your story on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
You knew about that?
Yeah, I knew about that, you liar.
As long as we're putting our cards on the table, I don't feel like driving 8 hours to Minnesota next week to see your family.
You think last weekend I enjoyed dressing up as a gonk droid? I waited in line for an hour for a midnight showing of The Empire Strikes Back. That costume was so stiff, I couldn't get any popcorn into my mouth.
That's not the only thing you couldn't get in your mouth.
What did you just say to me?
Never mind. Look, maybe you should go to the story thing without me. You're more literary orientated.
Oriented!
Jesus Christ, Merriam-Webster, get off my back!
Look, you're right. We probably both need a break. You stay here. I'll go to the hop leaf.
I think that's a good idea.
And honey, if you're going to be here tonight,
Yes?
would you please do those dishes you said you were going to do 3 days ago? Thank you.